Hello, Dymbur.
Hello, Zach. Hey, this is Cornelius from Dymbur, man. Hey, what's up, man? What's happening?
Cornelius. What the fuck, dude? Yeah, man, you're live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation Radio. How you doing, man?
Yeah, thank you so much, Zach. Thank you so much for having me in the show and for playing our band in the radio, man. Thank you so much for the support. I'm doing good, buddy. I'm doing good.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for taking the time, dude. I know it's got to be late over there, man. What time is it?
I mean, like it's 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and I just got the fuck up, man.
So what's going on in the world of Dymbur, man?
We've been like quite busy, man. We're really happy, after we came up with the album, after we released it, and like we just played a gig last week, and like we're also getting ready for the album tour in like different cities in India. And things are going on good. We've got a couple of interviews and lined up after this, and then things are going good, buddy. Things are going good. We're just happy. Let's see. Where does this lead to?
Hell yeah, man. Well, everything I've heard so far off the album fucking kicks ass, man. I love it.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for this support.
So tell us, how long have you guys been? How long have you been doing this, and how did you get started?
We started in 2012. Actually, we started in 2012. We've been writing our originals since 2012. We started out by competing like in different Battle of the Band competitions out here in India. We usually have these Battle of the Bands competitions. This is like the best place. The battles are like the best place for any upcoming band in India to come up, and to make a name for themselves. So that's how we started, man. We won a couple of competitions, created a name for the band. We did lots of hard work. And, we've been writing our songs and our originals since 2012. But, like, we've never had a chance to put them up in an album due to many obstacles in our path. And after all these years being together in a band with all the ups and downs that we've been through, a couple of lineup and band member changes and all that, we're really happy to finally compile all our songs in our debut album, So it's been like a tough journey, a long, tough, hectic journey for us, man. But we're happy that we're still doing it and we're still here.
Yeah, man. Well, we're happy too, man, because like I said, everything I've heard so far is just this album is badass, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Can you tell us about the recording of the album? How did that go?
Yeah, that went well, man. I recorded the album at my home studios here in Shillong, India, and it was mixed and mastered at Elta Studios in USA. So I had a friend, there's a friend who plays from the band Croesus. So he helped us out with the mix and mastering of the album. We also did experiment a lot on this album. We worked with the ambient effects, the glitches, and then we also experimented with those chants and hymns on a song called Diablo Illumination. And we composed the intro track as well, and we had the same being narrated by a vocalist, and we did a few ambient samples on a few tracks. It was really fun, man. It was fun, doing this. It was our debut album, and we did try and experiment a lot with it.
Hell yeah, man. For all the gearheads out there, because I know there's a bunch of them listening, can you tell us, can you give us like a gear rundown of what you guys were using to record the album?
Yeah. So I was using my Schecter 8-string guitar. I play an 8-string, and I was just recording it raw. I just recording it directly into the interface using a DI box, and I just had the dry signals, and I used a couple of VSTs and guitar VSTs. I was using Misha Mansoor's Tone Forge, if I'm not mistaken, for for getting a tone reference for the album. But then like after that, I mean like everything was sent to the guy who did the mixing and mastering for us. So we pretty basically sent him clean DI channels of the guitars, the bass, and but actually the drums we had to program the drums. Since like we do not have a proper setup, for recording live drums at the moment. So basically, for this album, we had to program the drums. And apart from that, yeah, that's it, man. I think so. We don't use any raw tones or any amps on the record. I mean, like everything was like VSTs and plugins and all that shit.
Right on, man. Well, it really sounds good. I got a couple questions for you from the chat room. Let me see here. Vicky Grandy and Mega Mike want to know: have you ever played in Canada?
No, man. I mean, like we haven't played there, but I mean, like we'd love to. We'd love to be there, man. Anytime. I mean, like somewhere near the future. I mean, like it would be great, man. We've not been there, but we'd love to play there. We'll definitely try and get there somewhere in the near future, man.
Oh yeah. Vicky also wants to know, what band would you play if you could tour with anybody? Who would you tour with?
Man, definitely Meshuggah, man.
Hell yeah, I could see that. I think that would be a good lineup.
Yeah, man, brutal.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, like they have been our inspiration, man, right from the first time we started the band, and especially for me, like after seeing Frederick Tordendal play, I mean, like that guy is a legend. He's a god himself, man. I mean, like he's one of my inspiration.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, Animals as leaders, Tosin Abasi, he's like a fucking hell of a guitarist, man. Seriously. And maybe Monuments as well. Like these are like my favorite bands. I mean, like Meshuggah, Monuments, Animals as Leaders. But like we did open the show for Veil of Maya when they came down to India. So that was the biggest achievement till date for the band.
Nice. Speaking of that, can you tell us what kind of influences you had growing up? Like, what got you into metal music?
Like any other metalhead, man. I mean, like I grew up listening to iconic bands like Dream Theater, Maiden, Megadeth, Sepultura. And then I was inspired to pick up the guitar at the age of 8 years. Actually, my parents wanted me to learn the guitar, and in fact, they bought me my first guitar. And after a couple of years, when I think I was at around 14 to 15 or maybe 13 years old, I guess I was 16 or 17. I was inspired to pick up the 8-string guitar after seeing a couple of videos of Animals as Leaders. I mean, like seeing a couple of videos of Tosin Abasi from Animals as Leaders. And he was the guy that inspired me a lot. I was like, it was my first time seeing an 8-string guitar. And, I've never seen a fucking 8-string guitar in my life. And I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? I need this, man. I really want to be like this guy, even if I can't be like someone like him, I just need to be at least 10% to what he is, man. He was my inspiration at that time. And yeah, then followed Meshuggah, Veil of Maya, and mostly all the other prog metal bands, man. That was it for me, man. It started like that, and I guess the other band members as well, like they have their own influences and inspirations, man.
Hell yeah. Another question from the chat. Mega Mike wants to know, is the metal scene big over there in India? What's it like?
Okay. Yeah, man. The metal scene is growing actually here in India. It's a very good time to be in a metal band right now, because like I said, the metal scene is growing. Listening to metal music, they've been listening. Since back in the days, but there were only listeners at that point of time. Now you've got like big festivals in India. I mean, like we have like Bangalore Open Air, we've got like Bacardi NH7 Weekenders, and we've got like many local music festivals, metal festivals in different parts of the country. We've also had, you know what? I mean, like we've had like big bands who have toured India over the past 9 to 10 years. Um, we've had like Iron Maiden twice. We've had Metallica. We've had Slayer. We've had Children of Bodom, man. We've had Lamb of God. We've had Meshuggah coming down to India. We've had Dying Fetus, Cannibal Corpse, Flesh God, Apocalypse, Suicide Silence, and you know, recently we had Carnival, Tesseract, Textures. You know, they all came down to India, man. I mean, like, yeah, the scene, it's growing. You know, it's growing, and you know, we're looking forward to it grow. And you know, I mean, like, we're looking forward to many Indian bands play abroad as well. You know, and getting the chance to make it big someday.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that because I know from reading interviews and watching documentaries and stuff like that, I see, you know, big bands like Iron Maiden and Metallica, etc. When they go over there, they really talk highly of you know, I mean, they say that when they go over there, the fucking place goes nuts. Like people show out in droves. I mean, it's insane.
Man, I mean, the following year, I mean, like, you know, I mean, like, the metal scene here, it's huge. You know what I mean? Like, we've got like a huge number of listeners, and you know, the following is great here. I mean, like, we've got dedicated fans out here.
Oh yeah.
And we've got, yeah, I mean, like, there are huge festivals as well. But the problem is that, you see, this is what happens, man. I mean, like, when international acts, they come down to India, everyone will go and fucking see them. But the problem lies is that, the problem here is when, you know, a local band or a national act from India itself plays a gig, I mean, like, there'd hardly be like 200 to 300 people coming up for a show, man. That's the shit, man. I mean, like, obviously anyone will attend a Metallica gig or Iron Maiden gig, you know, but you know, if you want to see Dymbur headlining a show in India, there'll be like 200 to 300 people, man. I mean, like, we'll be lucky if we get that much supporters, you know, coming up for our show. It's always like that, man. I mean, like, yeah, it's hard for a metal band to survive actually in India, you know.
I hear you. Got another question for you from the chat. Vicky wants to know, what other instruments can you play?
I can play the guitar, man. I mean, like, I'm a guitarist, I can play the guitar, but, you know, I mean, like, I can play a little bit of drums and bass, you know.
Right on. She also wants to know, what do you prefer, bubble baths or showers?
Oh, man. I'd go with showers, dude.
Okay. Another question from the chat. What's one of your favorite places that you've played so far?
Oh, man, that's a tough one, man. That's a really tough one. I mean, like, we've played like in almost in different cities and different parts of India, but the best one would always be. Okay, let me think. Give me a second here. It's, you know, I mean, like, we've played many places, but yeah, I would say, like, you know, the best one would have been the Vale of Maya gig, man. The gig where we supported the American Gen Giants, the Vale of Maya. That will always be a gig to remember, and we've had the fondest music memory with those guys, man. It was a hell of a show.
Hell yeah. Mike also wants to know, are there a lot of local venues for you guys to play at over there?
Yeah, there are, man. I mean, like, there are a couple of local venues, but like I said, man, it's still difficult, you know, because at times we do get venues to play. At times we don't. I mean, like, there are only a few venues that support metal music. So, you know, I mean, like, it's a sort of a 50-50% situation out here, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, back to this album, man. One thing that I really love, besides the way that it sounds, but the album art. Can you tell me about that? Like, the album art is amazing, man. It's beautiful. How did you guys come up with
man. I'm glad you liked it, man. And we're happy that like almost everyone who have listened to us, they've really enjoyed the display of the artwork. The art itself is some of the. It's the most detailed work that actually Visual Amnesia, the guy who did it. He's done a really good detailed work on it. He's actually a friend of ours. He works in. He's worked with many bands, man, many Indian bands. He's worked, and he's also worked with lots of international bands. Like he did create an arts and prints for Slipknot, Black Sabbath, Sky Harbor, Monuments, Textures, Underside, Sleep Terror, 12-Foot Ninja. So it was really good for us, when we shared the artwork details with him, when we told him that we wanted him to work for to work on the album art for Dymbur. And since he is from the exact same place that we are, we belong from the same city, from the same town, So there were lots of dense natural elements that were set in the ancient rainforests, with a lot of traditional ink work and atmospheric feels, as well as to come up with those characters to balance the whole concept. The bigger challenge was coming up with the story and tying down it all together in different shades of the album into a single concept album. Because we were dealing with songs which were written over lineup changes. We had older songs and we had newer materials as well. And there was a certain evolution in the sound and ideas as we progressed, So when we shared the idea with him, we wanted to do something, we wanted to have an album art. He just didn't want us to do something like any other gen bands would do. We'll just have a triangle, or we'll just have a simple artwork, man.
Mm-hmm.
He suggested that since we have been growing up listening to our folk tales, from our grandmothers, from our ancestors, we've got a different folk tales and different stories that we grew up listening to, So he suggested us that, we should work on something about this, something which would create an impact, in which people would ask questions like, what the hell is this? I'm seeing this artwork and it looks unique. It looks different. We just wanted to experiment with our own folktales and stories that we've heard from our ancestors. Even though the Legend of Thraat is a work of fiction, of course, but the roots of the album, the whole artwork of the album, lies in the tales that have been passed through generations, So, we're also really proud that and happy that we got to work with Visual Amnesia, because he also shared his vision for the band. So the mission out here was to set a new standard that has never been set before in the Indian metal scene. So that's how it came up with, man.
Very cool. Yeah, looking at it, it's definitely it's a really deep album cover. When you're looking at it, there's a lot of stuff that you see. I see, there's this dragon coming through the woods, and you got these hooded guys fucking standing around, like some kind of cult. And then you got this dude sitting there with a fucking flaming torch, and there's a snake up in the trees. And I love it, man. That's actually what drew me in when I first saw the promo in my email. That's what made me click on it. I saw the album art and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this? I got to check it out." It's it reminds me of when I was growing up in the 80s, going to the record store and flipping through records, and that's what would grab me or that's what would make
Yeah,
me grab a record. Was usually the cover back in those days because there was no other way
yeah,
of
man.
finding out about stuff. And
Yeah,
it's definitely, I think that's definitely an important thing. And I think it's cool that it seems like nowadays it's definitely coming back to where a lot of bands are getting more into using more artistic album arts again, like they used to.
yeah, yeah, true.
I know that they kind of got away from that.
Yeah, man. I
for a
mean,
little
like,
while.
obviously, I mean, like, mhm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me, Cornelius?
Yeah, Zach. Yeah. I can hear you, Zach. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I mean, like, that was the whole idea. I mean, like, we wanted to grab the listeners' attention, and people who haven't heard about us before, like, once they look at the artwork, they'll be like, definitely, I need to check these guys out. I mean, like, that was the idea, because like there's so many metal bands out here, and I mean, like, just in India and all around the world. I mean, like, there's so many fucking metal bands, good metal bands. I mean, like, at the end of the day, you have to do something or the other to stand out from the rest, man. And to, I mean, like, and so, you have to do something that to stand out from the rest and to be different. So that was the whole idea that we wanted to have with this. Since it is also our debut album, we wanted people to know more about the band, to listen to us, and to have something, an artwork that looks like this. I mean, like, it's a positive thing for the band, man. I mean, like,
Hell yeah, man. Another question for you from the chat. Where do you guys see yourselves in like the next 3 years?
we just continue to make music, man. And we'll keep on making music. We need to stick together as a band. We need to fight all the negativity that's there in life. Keep making music for the fans, make our listeners happy. We should be happy, and hopefully one day we get to tour and play in many different places that we've never been before, man.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I definitely hope to see you guys over here someday, man. That would be fucking awesome.
Seriously, man, we'd love to play there someday, man. We'll definitely try and get there somewhere in the near future.
Well, for people out there listening, where can they go to find out more information about you guys?
Yeah, man, we're up there in Facebook, we're in Instagram, we're in YouTube. You can follow us. I mean, like, just type down our name, Dymbur, Dymbur, and you'll see us there. Feel free to drop us a message, man, if you want to know more about us. We'd love to hear your feedbacks on our debut album as well. Yeah, so that's it, man. I mean, like, we're there in almost all social networking sites. So just drop us a message, just find us, and stream our songs, listen to our music. We've got a couple of music videos from the album as well. So yeah, man.
Fuck yeah, man. And will this record be available on vinyl?
No, man, no, not as of yet. But we're gonna think about that.
Oh man, yeah, you got to, man. Like, I mean, if it's at all possible, I mean, just the album art alone, it's got to be seen on vinyl.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
We'll try our best with that. Let's see. We've got to talk with the band regarding that,
Oh yeah, man.
And we'd love to have it. Yeah, man.
All right. Well, Cornelius, I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything else you want to add to let the people know?
Yeah, man. I mean, like, thank you so much for having us, for having me in your radio, for playing our band, and obviously for this awesome interview. It means the world to us, man. It really means the world to us. I mean, like, people will get to know more about our band. People from your place, people from different parts of the world who are listening to us right now will get to know more about us. And so I'd just like to thank everyone who have helped us all along the way. And we're really happy and proud I mean, like, to have achieved the milestone of being together as a band, and most importantly, achieving the milestone of this debut album. We've overcome many struggles and hardships on this journey, especially being a metal band in India, man. It's fucking tough. Through the times of uncertainty and many pitfalls that of being an independent metal band in India. We survived purely like because the passion within us was not willing to give up. So looking back at this moment, we feel that it was all worth it, and the album is everything that we had wanted it to be. So we're so thankful to have come this far, and we hope all of you listen to our album, stream it online, grab our physical copies from us, and enjoy and feel our songs, that reflect our journey and our roots, man. And, we would like to thank all our fans, our families, friends, and supporters from all around the Indian metal scene, and, also the supporters who have supported us from different places, man. We've had like a couple of supporters who have ordered our CDs from Germany, from the US, from the UK. I mean, like, thank you so much, guys. I mean, like, this album would have never been possible without your immense support. And, thank you for never giving up on us. We will keep on growing and we'll keep on making music. And guess what? Yeah, man, Dymbur has got a lot on the horizon, man. Thraat.
Hell yeah. Right on, man. Well, thanks a lot for taking the time. Before I let you go, I got to get you to make us a station tag, all right?
Oh, man.
Whenever you're ready, say something like, this is Dymbur, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah, guys. This is Dymbur, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio. Put your speakers all over the place and crank the shit up, man. Thraat. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Right on, man. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blast some more Dymbur for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy, alright?
Yeah, man. Definitely, dude. Thank you so much, Zach. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And you have a great one, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, sure, Zach. Thank you for doing this, man, once again. Cheers to you guys and your team, man. Cheers to Metal Devastation Radio, man. Greetings from India. Cheers, Thraat.
Later, dude.
Later.
There you have it, folks. Dymbur live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation motherfucking Radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your fucking windows, put them in your front lawns, put them wherever the fuck you can. If you don't fucking see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, you didn't crank it up loud enough. Period. Crank it the fuck up, motherfuckers.